From its inception in 2009, Hard Knocks has evolved into the pay-per-view all around the world, this time from Calgary for Hard Knocks 40. Our guest this morning, Jeremy Ballantyne, who is a color commentator for this. Jeremy, we also have Josh Griffin and Zach Chalmers. Both of them are pro fighters. They could kick our butts, man. These guys, just the way they look at us, they're just scoping us out saying, man, you know, that guy.
It's a size up thing. They just want to know. They want to actually know how much you weigh. I think that's the first thing that goes through. Is that guy in my weight class? I need to find that out.
Yeah. And I can take him down in 10 seconds. Hard Knocks. Someone who is unfamiliar with Hard Knocks, I know we have some video with this as well too. It's mixed martial arts. It is mixed martial arts, similar to what you see in the Ultimate Fighting Championship or the UFC, just as the general moniker that it goes by. But we started as an amateur level because at the time in 2009 there was no amateur mixed martial arts, so people would jump right into professional and necessarily not be ready for that big step. So we started it originally as a setup to give amateurs an opportunity to gain experience to be able to represent professionally when they made their debut, to represent well. And since then, we've continued to grow. We had a demand for professional fights, and as you could see some of the action here. This was from Hard Knocks 38, which happened at Winsport in October. But the value that these fighters get from some amateur experience, and then for the professionals to get some fights at the beginning grassroots level before trying to get into big organizations like the UFC. Okay, so let's chat with a couple of these guys because you're excited. You want to get, I don't know, Josh, where do you want to take your career?
Obviously for the career is you're always looking to make it to the big show, UFC, Bellator, one of the big shows, but first and foremost, building that record and getting noticed.
Zach, you're from Central.
Yes.
A guy from Central, right here in our city.
Yeah.
Did you grow up to loving the sport? I mean, how did you get into this, man? Were you a wrestler in high school?
I was a wrestler in high school and junior high as well. And a huge fan of MMA. When I was in high school was when it first started. UFC 1 was just kind of coming out. So I've been a huge fan for years. And it's been kind of on my bucket list for a while. And things have just lined up nicely and set me up where I can get into my first fight coming up this Friday.
So this transition period, if you will, to maybe a professional rank, this is helping big time.
Huge.
Yeah, it just gives you a feel for what it's all about.
Yeah. I train and I do strength and conditioning for some mixed martial arts fighters, and they've sort of persuaded me to come out and give it a shot at practice. So we did, and they were confident in my skills. So thought I'd step it up a notch.
Yeah, no kidding. And here you are, man.
Yeah.
Josh from Western, another local guy wants to make it in the ranks. Same kind of story as Zach.
Very similar. I wasn't a wrestler in high school, but played all the sports that were available to me. Top athlete on all my teams, and eventually I made the transition into the fighting sports. No kidding, eh? And is it part of you too saying, how do I do this? You know, where do I go from here? Because as you're mentioning, Jeremy, and it's like this middle ground is that, okay, I'm interested, I want to do this sport, but where do I go from here? That's where Hard Knocks steps in. Well, it does. It gives these athletes an opportunity, especially now with the pay-per-view and all the production side that goes to things. Before, fighters, when they went to the big shows, they all of a sudden now have to do interviews. They have to do pre-fight pressers. They've got to do television spots. They've got to do radio spots and all these other things that take away from their fighting. That's also part of the preparation, because without the show aspect of things, unfortunately, there is no sport. That's how they make their money, and that's how the big organizations make their money. So we give those fighters an opportunity to really feel what it's like to do all that stuff, have the cameras in their face, so that when they make it to that big jump, it's not a big issue for them. Yeah, we're seeing Josh right there doing a little ducking and diving and making sure he doesn't get kicked in the head. Man, that's a heck of a kick you got there, buddy. The training aspect. Zach, you mentioned it a few moments ago. Man, it's just not you go for a run and then you're ready to go. There's a lot involved here.
There's a huge commitment. There's skill development. There's strength conditioning. You know, your nutrition, it's massive. Got to stay on top of it. I'm 40 years old, so I'm every minute of the day. Are you too old for the sport? We'll find out. Right? Did you say it right, Jeremy? This is your first one? Yeah. This Friday, it's at the Central Casino, which used to be the old Frank Sisson's. This is your first time. First time, yeah. Man, how you feeling? Oh, I mean, you look big, you look strong. I'm sure you've got some skills, man. But where are you at? My nerves are fired up. You know, I'm it's one of those things, I've never done it before, so I can't compare my preparation to previous experience.
Right.
But my coaches are excellent, and they're confident in my skills, and I feel really good.
Nice.
So going into it, feeling pretty pumped.
Yeah, Josh, this is not your first time.
It's not my first time.
So what advice would you give to Zach?
Stay calm, relax, and treat it like another day of training. So
Yeah, you know, and maybe that's what it is, because nerves can take over big time. But that's what's the exciting thing about watching something like this, Jeremy. I'm sure you would agree. You see these amateurs. They're excited to be in the ring. They want this. They're passionate about it. Now, it may not be as big as the MMA that we're used to, but it could be.
Well, and our goal is to make it to that echelon.
Elite status.
Yeah, and when you look at MMA across Canada, Hard Knocks Fighting is one of the only promotions that does a live pay-per-view. We have web content. We've got documentaries that show up on Shaw TV. We've got fights that are on Shaw TV every single Saturday that just show how these fighters continue to grow. But I get a chance to talk to these fighters before they step into the cage.
Oh, yeah.
Like I'm going to talk to Zach later on to do his interview, and just to find out what brings them to start fighting. And it's not what most people would think with an MMA fighter, where they had a bad childhood and they fought growing up. Many of the fighters, especially at the top levels, are university athletes. They're university educated, and they've transitioned, and it's just something that they're excellent at.
The big event is this Friday, Century Casino, Hard Knocks 40. Watch for these two guys. You're going to be great. Believe it.
All right.
Josh, Zach, Jeremy, thank you all very much. Hard Knocks 40 happens this Friday. A lot of other things are happening in and around our city, including music for a winter evening. Corpus Christi Male Choral is partnering with Legacy Kitchens and Dennis Plintz and Associates. It is happening on December 16th at the Jack Singer Concert Hall. And if you'd like more information, there's the number, 403-717-3385. This is Trending on Shaw.